we will learn why it is required. Okay, so as we all know that file is a data which is stored in the system. So you can define it as a file. So file actually used to store our data permanently on any of the secondary storage. So in C programming also we can do store our data on the secondary storage. So first we will see what are the learning objectives. So here are few of the learning objectives. So first we will understand about the file management, and then we will learn the different functions. There are various functions which are used to perform this operation. Okay, so file management basically deals with the management of the files, that is the data you want to store permanently on the secondary storage. So there are different functions provided for it, and then we will see how you can implement. First we will learn about all the functions. So we will be covering most, although there are numerous functions, but we will be covering most widely used functions, and then we will see how we can implement each of those functions in our code. So when we talk about file is nothing but it is a sequence of bytes stored on the secondary storage. Okay, so until now the program which we have developed in our C programming, so all those programs, whenever we execute those programs, so the data for those programs stored in the main memory. Okay, we all know that we have a main memory, we call it RAM, and we also have secondary storage, and we usually use the secondary storage as the hard drive, although there are many. So when we store our applications or programs in the hard drive, so in order to execute those programs, what a microprocessor does is it loads the data. The microprocessor loads the data from hard drive to RAM, and then it executes the instruction. So it means that the data has to be loaded into memory first, or the main memory, then only your microprocessor can execute that. It means that the slide which you are viewing right now, it is in the main memory. So the microprocessor has swapped it from the hard drive to the main memory. That is why you would be able to see it. Similarly, the program which we have created in our the earlier sessions, or all the programs which we have seen, all those, the data for all those program is also stored in memory, because we were executing the program by the microprocessor, and the program is loaded into the main memory. So for example, whenever we declare a variable, so we must have to declare a variable in order to store data, then only we can store the data. So we have learned that how this data can be represented in main memory. It means the data which we have stored in the variable A remains in main memory, and whenever we terminate our program or close our program, the data wiped out. Okay, it means in our earlier program there was no way we can store data permanently. We haven't learned that technique. So in order to store the data permanently, we use the technique of file management provided by C programming language. So in file management, what we do is we allow our program to store data permanently on the hard drive. Okay, and then we can access that data anytime whenever we want. So that is the main purpose. So the main purpose of storing data permanently is that you would be able to store data at any given point of time later on. Okay, even though if you close your program, your data is already stored, so that when we rerun the program, we can fetch that data again and again. So this is the benefit of using the file management. So C programming, in C programming language, we can perform all the operations on file, and those operations comes under the category of file management. Okay, and you see two terms here as well. There are two types of file which we can use, that are the text file and the binary file. So we will learn about these later. So C programming language provides us library function to perform such operations, and there are two categories of functions which the C language provides, and those category are known as the low level function and as well as the high level function. So here in this topic, what we are doing is we are going to learn the high level functions to perform file operations. The low level functions are basically the operating system calls which the C programming allows us to use. It means that we directly interact with the operating, at that time we do not use any library function, rather we use the services from operating system directly. Those comes under the low level calls. Okay, so I'm just giving you knowledge about the types of functions which we can use. In this topic, we will be learning about the high level functions. Okay, and C allows us to use these low level services of operating system, since we know that the C is a very powerful language, and using C programming language we can directly access the low level features of operating system as well as the hardware, so that we can develop the system programs also. So for those purpose, the low level calls are available with the C programming as well, but here we will be using the high level functions. When we talk about the files, so in order to store data permanently on files, what we have to do is we have to create files so that we can store data in it. Okay, so there are two types of file basically our computer system uses, or in our C program we can use, and those types of files are the binary files and the text files. Okay, so the binary file and the text file are the although they might at some point of time they might look similar when you store the textual data in both the files. So at that time these both files may look same, but the difference is that how they encode the data and how they encode the data to store that data on the files. Okay, otherwise the other difference is that the text file can contain only the textual data, whereas the binary file format, you can use the binary file format to store other type of data as well, such as other than the text, or obviously using the binary file you can store text, but apart from this, you can also use the binary file to store other forms of data, such as images, video, audio data, and any other rich data that you want to store. So the .jp, for example, the .jpg file in our system is the example of the binary file. Okay, so this kind of data also you can store. So even in C programming, you can manipulate this kind of data. So for example, if you have learned about the application known as the Photoshop, okay, you might have learned about this, or you are aware about this application. So Photoshop is basically an application that allows you to edit images and those kind of data. So mostly the Photoshop is written in the language like C, C++, so they might have used. So whenever you store the Photoshop data, so the data of the Photoshop stored in the form of binary. So this kind of data is known as the binary files. So you can use the C programming to perform such operations as well. Here is the basic difference how the binary file and text file encode the data. Okay, so let's say we have two values we want to store. First value is the short integer type or the integer value. The number is 768, and another type is the character value. The value is the capital A. So when we use the text file, so no issues with this character A. It is stored in this form. It is converted to the binary and then it is stored, and the number will be stored differently, because the data in the character file are stored as the characters in the form of characters. Okay, so the all these numbers are differently converted into binary and they are stored. For example, 8 will be converted into binary, 6 will be converted, and 7 will be converted. This is how the text file encode the data, whereas in the binary form, the whole number is converted into the binary and then it is stored. This is the main difference. Let us take another example. Let's say we want to store a number 2, 3, 4 and 5, 6, 7. Let's say we want to store this number. So when we store this number in the text file, so how many bytes it will take? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it will take 6 bytes to store. Okay, and when we store this data in the binary file, then it will take only 3 bytes, because the total number of bytes required to store this data is 3 bytes. How? Let us first see the binary equivalent of this. So when you convert this number into binary, so you will get the binary equivalent you will get is 1, 1, 1, and then 0, 0, 0, 1, followed by 3, 0, and then 1, 0, 1, and then 0, 0, and 1, 1, 1. So you can try converting this into binary. So the binary representation of this number is this. So let us see how many bytes. So we know that one byte is of 8-bit. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is the 1 byte, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Just a minute. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this is the another 1 byte, and these two number will take another byte. So how many bytes we require? Only 3 bytes. So whereas when we will be storing this data into the text file, so first 7 will be converted, then 6 will be converted, 5 will be converted. So this is how the text file encodes the data. So text file usually takes a larger space in memory to store data. So when you use that is why the other forms such as image, audio, video, etc. cannot be stored in the text. So now the file operation which we can perform using the file handling functions which are provided by C programming language are here are the operations that we can perform. So basically the file handling functions which are provided in C are used to create a file. You can read or update a data in a file or delete a file. So the operations which we can use is the creation of file, opening of a file, and we can also read from a file, writing data to the file, in writing data, we can create a new data as well as we can update the existing data as well. Okay. Similarly, you can move to the specific location on a file. So we will learn about this also, how we can move to a specific position, and we can also delete a file using the file handling functions. Okay, so the main thing whenever we perform the file operations, so the main thing we require is the file pointer. So file pointer is nothing but it is basically a structure which is defined in the stdio.h header file. Okay, so it is the file pointer is a data structure. Okay, so this data structure contains different information about the file, such as the name of the file, the position of the file, where the file will be read and written, and the error that could occur in the file. So there are different number of information, the size of the file, how many bytes the file is having. All of these kind of information is used to hold using the file structure, and these kind of information are required in order to handle file in our program. So we do not have to worry about this because this is the file pointer is an interface provided to us. We simply use the file, this file pointer, the file structure, create a pointer variable, and then we can use this pointer variable in our program. Rest of the task is done internally by this pointer only. Okay, so and we also do not have to include any special header file in order to perform the file operations, because all the operations are included in the stdio.h header file, which we usually include in our program. So before we can start handling a file, we need to have a data structure known as the file pointer. With the help of file pointer, we perform all the operations. We could perform all the operations on the file. Here are the different functions. So these are listed some of the most important functions which we can use on a file for the file handling purpose. So the first function is the file fopen function. This fopen functions open a new or the existing file. So using this function, you can both open a new file as well as you can also open the existing file as well. Fprintf function is used to write data into the file, and similarly the fscanf function reads data from the file. Fputc function writes character to a file. Fgetc function reads character from file. Fclose function closes the file. Fseek function is used to set the file pointer to a specific position in a file. So we will learn this, how you can place the pointer in the specific position, and what is the use of positioning the file pointer to the specific location in a file. Putw function writes an integer to a file. Getw function reads integer. Fgetw reads an integer. Ftell function returns the current position in a file, and rewind function sets the file pointer to the beginning of the file. Okay, so this function is basically used whenever you use the fseek function, and using fseek function we set the file pointer to a specific position, and let's say you again want to return to the beginning of the file, then we use the rewind. So we will see all this with an example. Okay, so first we are going to see the fopen function, how you can use the fopen, why you use the fopen function, and how you can use. So in order to handle file in our C program, we require it to be open either a new file, either as a new file or as the existing file. So whenever we are creating a new file, we are writing a new data, then we usually open the file. We usually open a new file, and whenever you want to read the data, or you want to update some content in those files, then at that time we use the another method, which is for opening the file for opening the existing file. So in such case, you have to open the existing file. Then only you can read or update the content. Otherwise, whenever you want to write the new data, then at that time we use uh, uh, we open the file as a new file. Okay. So f open function takes two argument, as you can see here. The two argument we need to specify for the f open function, and this you can easily identify. This argument is uh, uh, of type character or the string variable or the string value. So usually with the help of this argument, we specify the mode, and that mode can be whether you want to open the file for reading only, or whether you want to open the file for writing purpose. And the first argument is the file pointer. So file pointer is nothing but it is the pointer which we create with the help of file data structure, using the file data structure. Oh, sorry, this is not the file pointer, but it is the name of the file, not the file pointer. It is the name of the file. So as the first argument, we have to specify the name of the file, and the second argument we specify the mode in which we want to open the file. So name of the file could contain either simply the name of your file, or you can also include the whole path where you want to store the file. So these are all the modes which we can most possible nodes which we can open a file. So these are the value which we specify as the second argument, as this argument, the mode argument. Okay, name is the simple, it is the name of the file, such as let's say you want to open the hello.txt file. So the file name would contain this name, both the argument of type string. So it means we have to specify the value to this argument in the form of string value. Okay, and the second value is the mode. The mode value could take any of these as per your requirement. So the small r is used for opening the file in read only mode. Small w is used for opening the file in for the writing purpose. Small a is used for opening the file in the append mode. Similarly, r plus, if you specify r plus, it means you can not only open the file for reading but for the writing purpose also. W plus also means we can open the file in the read and the write mode, and append also means that we can open the file in the read and write mode. Okay, and RB, when we use the mode as the simple value, it means the text file will be open, but whenever we specify the B along with the modes, it means that file will be open in the binary form. That is the main difference. So if you want to deal with the binary file, then you can use the B. So whenever we open the mode, so this is how the file marker or the file pointer is set. So whenever we open the file in the read mode, so the file pointer or file marker, it is the special kind of pointer that marks. So this is a very important marker which we use whenever we perform a reading or writing operation. So whenever we open the file in the read mode, suppose this file contains this data, and this represent the end of the file. Yeah, this represent end of the file. You can consider this as the data in a file, and this is the end of the file. Okay, if you remember, we have learned about the strings. So whenever we define string, the string also contain a special character at end known as the null character. Okay, so similarly, file also contain one character at the end, which is known as the end of the file. Okay, so this tells the program where the file ends, because file does not look in memory like it appear to us. Okay, in memory it is simply a sequence of bytes. So we have to tell our program where this file ends, where the memory for this file, or where the memory cell, which is the last memory cell for this file, so that from the next memory location other data could be written. Okay, so that is why this marker is required. Similarly, the file marker is set at the beginning whenever we open the file for reading mode. When we open the file for writing purpose, it means whenever we are creating a new file, then the file marker is it also present at the beginning. And whenever we open the file for the appending purpose, appending means when there is some existing data and you want to add more data. So usually we write data after the existing data. So that is why the file marker point to the last at the end of the file. Similar to the fopen function, we can also close a file using the fclose function. So fclose function require only the file pointer, which denotes the type of file we want to the file which we want to close. Okay, and this fopen function, whenever we specify argument to the fopen function, if the file is successfully open, then the fopen function initialize the file pointer. It means now this file pointer contains the information about the file which you are opening. Okay, and then the fputc function is used. The fputc function, so we can read or write data to a file in different forms. Okay, so we can write a single character, we can write a whole string, or we can write integer value, as well as we can write formatted data. Okay, so it means that in the file we can write unformatted data, as well as we can also write or read formatted data. Okay, so the unformatted data could contain such as a single character, or simply a string, or any integer. So the only one type of data you can write, that is known as the unformatted data. But suppose you want to write the information about a student, which could contain its roll number, could contain its name, as well as contain its percentage. So those kind of information is known as the formatted, because at once you are dealing with different types of values. So that kind of data we can also write to a file. So here the fputc function writes a single character to a file. The fputc function takes two arguments. First argument is the character that you want to write, and another argument is the file pointer, which denotes in which file you want to write that character. Okay, so the file pointer specifies the file in which you want to write the character. And similarly, for reading the character that you have written, we use the fgetc function. Okay, fgetc function reads one character at a time. Okay, so both the fputc function as well as fgetc function, both of these function handles only one character at a time. Okay, so now we are going to see an example of these functions, and as well as how you can open the file as also. I'll open the virtual lab. Okay, so we already have this as this function, the library file defined. Okay, so before we can perform any operation on file, we need to have a file pointer. So file pointer can be defined as a capital file. Okay, so this is basically a data structure defined as the structure. Okay, so structure union we have all learned. So you can this is defined using the structure only. And then we have to create the pointer variable. So here we are creating the pointer to structure. And then what we have to do is first we have to open the file. So we call the function f open. Okay, so at present we do not have any existing file, so we will be creating the file in the writing mode. The name of the file I want to give is test.txt and comma, I want to open this file in the writing mode. Okay, if the file is successfully open, then the fopen function returns the pointer which we can store in the file pointer fp. Now this file pointer is pointing towards the text.txt file in memory. So we can now write the data to a file. For writing the data, we will be using the f c function. So f put c function takes two arguments. First is the character that you want to write. Suppose I want to write the character a, and second one is the file pointer, which implies in which file you want to write this data. And then what we can do is we can close the file. So because our writing operation is done. Okay, so I can close the file, specify the file pointer. So this will close my file. Okay, you can also do one thing in this program. Let me execute this program first. Compile this. It is compiled successfully. Now we can execute. So the program has also been executed. Okay. Now in order to see the file created, just right click on your project name. If you refresh, so you will see the test.txt file has been created. When you click on this file, so you can see the data which we have written to a file. So we have written a, so a is there. Okay. You can also read the data using the f get c function and specify the file pointer from where you want to read the data. Okay. And this returns the character value, so we can store character in the character variable and then use that character variable to get the data, and then we can write that character value in the we can display that character value onto the screen. Print a message character is then equal to, then we will print the character. So compile this program. Put the semicolon. Now we compile this program and execute this. So you will see the character written is C. Just a minute, I'll check. Everything is correct. Okay, so the problem is because we have opened the file in writing mode, so it will not read. So in order to do that, what we can do is I plus put the W plus. So now our file could be open for both the reading and the writing purpose. Otherwise, you can do the operation separately as well. It is not working, so maybe I'm just trying to read. Let's see the data first. A is written. Okay, so we do one thing. We after writing, what we do is we remove this writing and then we try to fetch. Okay, so the character is written. So because both the function we are performing at the same time, so that is why it was giving problem. So this is how you can read the data as well. And I have as I have stated earlier as well, you can write only one character at a time. Okay, so this is the this is what the f get c and f put c function does. So let's say you want to write suppose a string to a file. So we can also do that by using the get c function, and that we can do how we can do that is by calling the f c function multiple times. So first I want to write a, and want to write b, and I want to write c. Okay, like this. So when I compile this and execute this, file is created. When you open the file, just a minute, refresh it. So when you open the file, you can see all the content is written. But this is a kind of very lengthy process. So you can suppose you want to write multiple words, then how you can write. So the one technique which we can use is storing the content in the array. Okay, and then what we can do is we execute the loop in order to fetch one character at a time from this character array and then write that character to the file. Okay, so now I initialize the variable int I is equal to 0. Then open the file for writing mode and then write while. Okay, so I need to loop through each character of this array. So what we can do is how we can perform how we can traverse each character is by searching the null character. So I can write something like this: where if city I is not equal to null, so the loop will continue until the null character encounters. If this is so, then what we can do is f put c and then the character we want to write. Instead of city, let's say I specify simple variable name. Okay, then I put each character, so we know that we can get the character using the index number and write it to the file fp and close the file. Yes. And then we compile. Okay, right now our file has the ABC, so maybe I'll delete this. And there is no file now, so I compile this program. Okay, str compile this program and then execute. So you will see the file again created. It is still executing, that is why the file has not yet been created. Operation failed. I think there is some issue with this.
Sir, I should be incremented.
Yes. Oh, that's okay, but program should execute. This is I missed. Okay. So now the file has been created. And you can see the data has been written in the file. Okay, so the same technique you can use to read a file. Okay, so right now I have written, so data has been written here, and we can also use to read the content. So for reading, what we can do is, maybe I write another program. Okay, so this is our previous program. So I'll copy paste here, and I'm going to create a new file. Okay, so first we compile these programs to create a file.
Sir, in between it is running. Can I make the announcement, sir?
Yes, 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 you can make.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. Now I'm demonstrating you about your internal assignment for the practical program of programming in C. In theoretical part, you already have submitted 2 assignments, set 1 and set 2. That is all about the internal assignment for the theory paper. But as C programming has a practical paper also, so we are now going to, we already have published the internal assignment for the practical in C programming. Fine, you people have 7 questions. You have to attempt 7 questions. Each question comprises of 10 marks. Okay, now how you people are going to execute this exercise? You have to log into your LMS credential, your LMS portal using your university credentials. Then you have to go to programming in C practical subject. There you have a block for the virtual programming lab. When you will click to your virtual programming lab, then a new window will appear and there is a link for the launch programming lab. You click that and you are in the LMS of your subject. Okay, then in that screen you have visible that you have an assignment associated with that paper. Okay, now because few of the learners are facing some technical issue, regarding the assignment at the time foundation is coming there. That issue has been resolved by our technical team. If you still are facing any other issue, then please do connect with us either using the discussion board or with your mentors. Okay, and if you have any doubt regarding this assignment, you can now clarify it with me. I had made this announcement at this time because now the maximum learner are associated with this. But if you have not logged in even a single time to your LMS virtual lab, then it will not be visible. You have to log into your LMS, then only the assignment will be visible to you. Any queries, please? And the last date for the submission of this assignment, internal assignment for the practical in C, will be 30th September 2020. Yes, Ravi, you can unmute yourself and ask the question.
Actually, I am asking about the number of attempts, ma'am. Actually, it shows only 3 attempts and there are 70 questions. I think 7 assessment.
Okay,
Then,
you can attempt every question 3 times and the score of the best one will be chosen.
okay, question 3 times.
Yes, each question, each exercise you can execute maximum 3 times.
Each
Means you
exercise,
can,
ma'am, or each
suppose
question?
you have complete your exercise and you submit it, and later you think that you can you want to change it, then you can change it second time, you can change it third time, but beyond that it will not be allowed, and the best of the all 3 will be taken as your marks.
Each question, I think 3 times. Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Yes, next one, please. You can unmute your mic. Arnab Ranjan.
Yes. The thing which I have already written to you, okay, I have understood the regarding attempts you have taken care of. Now, how do I know what are the assignments? I mean, first of all, the questions. Is there any way we can view the questions?
Sir, first of all, you log into your account. Then when you are going to click that, there are 7 exercises.
Right,
and
right.
under instructions, under the instruction file, the problem is mentioned. We have given you the instruction there, how you are going to perform that, and also we have provided the hint with it.
Okay, because because if I just want to see, one attempt is gone. That's the thing. At least
definitely there will be a counter, sir.
Yes. So I just wanted to view what are the questions and prepare myself and then attempt the questions. That was my objective, and that's what I've already written to you. That what I have to do, I'm really not. Okay. Yesterday I went in.
Just click to exercises and just go to the instruction part.
Okay.
Because when you are going to type in the .c file, then it will be attempted. If you are just viewing the instruction file, also the first exercise is named with MCA batch 1_2021. We also have uploaded a complete Word file with that, and all the 7 exercises are also available in that. That is a separate file.
Okay. Okay.
You can view that separate file first, which have all the 7 questions with you, and then you can go to exercise 1, exercise 2, exercise 3.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so first is not an exercise, it's just a document for you.
Okay. So it will not be counted as an attempt.
No, that will, because that is not actually exercises. It is represented as an exercise, but it is not a exercises. Exercise names are specifically exercise _1, exercise _2. So in this manner, we have 7 exercises. The first exercises, which is named as May 2020 batch 1, is not actually an exercises. It is a document available there where in a one go you can have your all the 7 exercises.
Okay, fine. Okay, that takes care. Thank you very much.
Still any doubt, then you can connect with your mentor or write it over the discussion board. Okay, and also in the upcoming sessions, we can discuss about this problem if you people are facing.
Right. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Bhagyashri, because I have a faculty login, so just I can say you that that assignment is not available at my part. Okay, that is available to a learner, not to a faculty. So that's not possible for me right now to demonstrate that how it look at your end. It only available with you. Okay, you just try yourself. You just log into your account, go to practical of programming in C and go to the virtual lab. And whenever you click to the virtual lab environment, the screen will appear. There is your exercise available with you. Internal assignment is available there. And if still you are facing any problem, then next time we will try to demonstrate it using any credentials of the students. As I already had told that you have each exercise you can attempt maximum 3 times. Bhagyashri, you just click that and please mail it to your mentor. Then only we can address what problem you are facing. Okay, you just click the screenshot what problem is coming there, and then we can resolve it with the help of our technical team. Okay, because all the issue that the learner have reported till now, we try to resolve all these issues with the help of our technical team. So maximum issues are resolved now. If still you have any issue, then please mail it to your mentor with the screenshot of that problem. Not Kishore, not here. Please mail it to your mentor, because this will be over within 5 to 10 minutes. The class will be over. Then we are not able to fetch it from here only. Please mail it to your mentor. Okay. So, sir, you can please continue now.
Okay. So now we have seen the example of how you can use the fputC and fgetC function. Okay, so now we move on to the other function. Similarly, similar to the getC and fputC function, we can also use the function fputs, which writes a string to a file, as well as fgetS function, which reads the string from a file. Okay, so whenever we write a string, so we need to specify the string value and the file pointer with the fputs function. And when we are reading it, so we have to specify the variable in which we want to read the number of characters or bytes that we want to read, as well as the file stream. So we will see this with an example. So let's say this is the string, or I can take another string. So first I open the file in the writing mode. Then I can call fputs function and specify the string that I want to write and the file in which I want to write that string. And I close this function. Okay, so here you can see the file which we have already created. So this was the file. This is the previous file. I'm going to delete it. Or we can do one thing, we specify another file name and write the string. So I'll build the project. Okay, some problem is there. Okay, so this has been executed, compiled. Now I can execute this program. So when I execute it, you can see the file hello has been created. Okay, and it has the text hello. Now we can use the fgetS function to read. So to use the fgetS function to read the content, the changes I am going to make is, first, I do not need this value, so I am specifying a string. Let's say the size is 10. Open the file in read mode, and then what I'm going to do is I will call the fgetS function. Okay, so in the fgetS function, it takes 3 arguments. So how the first argument is the variable where I want to store my output. Okay, so I'm going to store the output in the str array, which I have declared here. So data will be stored in this array, and then how many number of bytes I want to read. So let's say I specify 5. Okay, and then from which file I want to read the data, and then I can close the file. Now my data is already available in this variable str through the function fgetS. So what the fgetS function does is, the fgetS function takes this fgetS function. What the fgetS function does is, it takes the data. So this is my file hello.txt, and I'm calling the fgetS function. So this function reads the data from file and writes the data to a variable which I have declared here called str. So it will write in this array. So now the value, so this array will be in memory, as we know that all the variable we defined will be in memory and contains our data. So now I can later on, after so I have closed file. Now I can close the file because I have already fetched the data and stored in this array. So now I can close the file and use this array which already contains my data in main memory. I can print the data. You can print this data and display the data over the terminal. Okay, so I'll just compile this program and execute it. So build project, then I execute it. Okay, I haven't printed, so we have to print printf data from file is equal to, since it is a string, so I'm using %s and the name of the string variable. Okay, build the project, execute the project, so you will see the output. So you could see only the 4 character, because whenever we are reading data using fgetS, so we have to consider the one reserved space for the end of the file, okay, or the end of the null character. So it means that if you are reading the 5 character, then you have to specify the bytes you want to read as 6. You will get the data. Okay, so this is the data we read from the file. Okay, in the same way, we can use the put w function as well as the get w function to read and write the string to read and write the integer value to a file. So we have seen how you can write character. We have seen how you can write string. Now we will see how you can write the integer value. Okay, so the functions are provided to write only these value, integer and the character values. Floating point value, there is no separate function, but you can use the other functions which are available. So we are going to see that later on. So how you can write? So let me create one more file name as decimal.txt. I open it in the write mode. Okay. Now in this program, what we are going to do is we will be using both the reading and the writing operation. Okay, so here I am going to use the function get w and put w. Put w function. So if you can see the syntax of the put w, it takes integer value as well as the file pointer. Get w function require only the file pointer. Okay, so put w and integer I want to write. So let's say 5, 6, 7, 8, any integer. This integer I want to write, and within which file, so specify with the file pointer. Okay, then I close the file. After this, what I do is I specify a variable result, and after closing the file, again I can open the file. So I'm going to open a file with fp is equal to f open, and I want to read decimal.txt file and open it in the read mode only, and then read the integer value from the file and store it in the result variable. So get w fp. Okay, so it also reads one value at a time, okay, like the character. So result is stored in the, so the get w function, it works in the same way like the f get s function. So it fetch the data from the file and store it in the variable in memory. It means that after closing the file, so it means that we can now close the file and then we can print data from file, that is the integer value which we have read. Result. Okay, so this is the number which we have stored. Now we can clearly see the number. You can also view the file. This is the file which we have created. The number is here. So you cannot directly read sometimes, but you can read it through the program. Okay, so this is the data which we have written, the integer value using file. Okay, the other functions that are used to perform the formatted input and output operation are the printf and the scanf function. Okay, and so using these function, what we can do is we can write the formatted data to the file. Okay, it means that you can write integer, floating point value, as well as the other values such as string, etc. to a file, and you can extract those values and read those values using the scanf function as well. Okay, so fprintf function can be used to simply write a string value, or you can write any other value also. So for this, we are going to see one program. That could read data from the file. Okay, so first what we are going to do is we declare the file pointer, and then I am going to declare the variable RNO, roll number, and then for student name I'm going to declare the character name and float. These are the data. This is the data, the different data I want to store. Okay, and then I open the file. fp is equal to f open, and the name of the file student.txt. I open it in the write plus mode. It means I can read and write both at the same time. Okay, and you can also check, you can provide a condition where you can check whether the file has been created or not. So for that we can write and check if the fp has the value null. Okay, so this condition I forgot to explain you. Using this condition, we can check whether the file has been created or not. Okay, if the file has not been created, then what we can do is we can print the message and terminate the program. It means there is no point in proceeding further. File does not, or we can write simple message, error opening file, and we can put return. Okay, and after this what we can do is we ask user to input roll number, name, and marks of student. And then we input each of these values. Scanf. First we input roll number, then we input name, and then we input the percentage or the marks. Okay, so this will input, and now we have to write it to the file. So for writing to the file, what we can do is we have to call the fprintf function. Fprintf function writes the data. Okay, so don't get confused. In our normal program, printf we use to display it the message on the terminal. So basically this printf, what this printf also does is this printf actually writes the data on the standard output. Similarly here we are writing the data to the file. Okay, so don't get confused with that. So fprintf, and here the first argument to the fprintf is the file stream fp, and then the second argument is the format. Okay, so it is very similar to the printf and scanf function. So what we can do is I want to write the data, so I write it as roll number is equal to %d, comma, name is equal to %s, comma, marks is equal to %. Okay, and then roll number and name, marks. So here also we write we take the same values. Instead of writing to the screen, we are writing inside the file, and then we can close the file. Yes. So now I compile this project. One warning is there. Okay, this we need one more file, one more function here, and that function is buffer function. Inside buffer function, std out, we set the std out to null. So build the project and execute. Okay, so roll number is 1001. Name I want to write as any name. Okay, so you can see the file has been created, and we can see that the data into the file has been written. Okay, in the same way, we can use the function scanf function to read the data. Okay, so in order to read the data from the scanf function, what we can do is there are multiple ways we can simply read as the string value. So first I'm going to show that, and maybe in next session we will see how we can extract the each information. So here I'm going to declare only one variable, buffer, and I give it any size, let's say 50. Okay, and then what we can do is we call the loop while scanf argument is fp, and I am going to read whole as the string value. So I specify %s, and then I want to store data in the buffer. So this function continues until it encounters the end of file marker. Okay, and then we are going to print the string that is in the buffer. Okay, so one error is there. Okay, the name I missed. So compile, I built this project, one warning, so we can ignore that. is not printing. Okay, instead of this, let me try the other code. F scanf and then fp pointer, and okay, maybe the problem is what I'm going to do. I'm slightly going to change this data because I have opened it in the right mode. Read mode. I have to open it in the read mode. So I manually type the data because the last data was erased. Now we will try. Okay, so you can see whole data has returned as the string. Okay, so we have returned the data as the string, but you can also fetch the individual data, the formatted data as well. So that we will see maybe in the next session. So we have one theory, one lab session remaining. So in that session, I will cover how you can read the data to individual variables, as well as we will also discuss about the fseek function and ftell function, as well as the rewind function. Okay, so we have learned about how we can use the fopen and fclose function. We have learned about different functions that could be used to write data to a file. We also learned about how you can write and read the data, the formatted data as well as unformatted data. And the one point which is remaining, how to jump to a desired location in a file using the fseek function. This we are going to cover in the our practical session. So if you have any question, you can ask.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone.
Okay.
If you are feeling still any doubt, you can put it over the discussion board. We will answer it there. Thank you, everyone. Have a nice day. Sir, I think there is a query from Ravi. Can you please address that?
Yes, Ravi, you can ask.
Oh, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Sir,
good morning.
what is the use of set buffer?
Set buffer function is basically I'm using this Eclipse IDE. So whenever we execute program which requires user interaction, such as you use the printf function, then display a message, then call the scanf function and get that data. So this ID, because this is the Windows based ID, here we are using the console based program. So at that time the proper message could not be displayed. So for that I have called the set buffer, so that this ID, because this is the Windows based ID, whenever it execute the program, it first clears the buffer so that we can get the proper message displayed to user, because the message is usually being written to the standard output. So in order to get that message properly displayed to the user, what I am doing here is I am clearing the output buffer, which holds our data to be displayed by the program to null. Means first I'm creating it blank, then I'm executing in fresh the program so that whatever output I want to display user, that could be displayed properly.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Any other query?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you everyone. Have a nice day. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Thank you all. Have a nice day.